We start tonight with new details about a deadly shooting at a post-prom party. IMPD says it happened at a short-term rental filled with teenagers. The gunfire overnight killed a woman and injured 3 other people at a home on Park Avenue and 40th Street on Indy's near North Side. Our Ella Rhodes talked with neighbors hours after the shots rang out, and we do want to warn you, the video and audio of the aftermath captured on camera are disturbing.
Jack Anderson took this video from his front porch just after 1 a.m. as he saw teens running for safety from this yellow house, where police say people hosted an after-prom party in the short-term rental.
3 houses down, I mean, we could almost feel the vibration. It was probably 60 plus shots that came through, and it was absolute chaos.
Minutes earlier,
my child was shot in her head at close range, and I saw brain matter on her hair. How do you think that makes me feel? That is Hollis Members, a father, sitting in his East Side Indianapolis living room, dressed in a black pinstriped suit, having just come back from the funeral home where he made burial arrangements for his 38-year-old daughter. This is the second daughter he has buried to gun violence. Sit with that before we go anywhere else. The second one, same father, same grief, 10 years apart. Now, every video covering this case has framed Brittany Members as collateral damage, a bystander, a mother caught in someone else's crossfire. Wrong place, wrong time. That is not what happened. What actually happened in the early hours of May 3rd, 2026, at a short-term rental on North Park Avenue in Indianapolis, Indiana, is more specific, more devastating, and more important than that word will ever capture. Brittany Members was standing at a door, protecting a house full of teenagers. When masked men tried to push their way in, she looked them in the face and said no, and they killed her for it. That is what this story is really about. Let's get into it. Before we talk about what happened, we need to talk about who she was, because the noise in this case started fast. The name confusion spread, the theories flew, and the real woman got buried underneath all of it. So let's start with her. Brittany Marie Members was 38 years old. She grew up on the east side of Indianapolis, one of several children in her family. Her father remembered her childhood the way grief sharpens memory, with the kind of detail that only comes when you know you will never make new ones. He told reporters that she and her sisters used to ride bikes through the neighborhood together, that his ex-wife always put bows and ribbons in their long hair, that strangers would stop them on the street to say how beautiful those kids were. She was a firecracker, his word, someone who felt things deeply and was not afraid to show it. She became pregnant in 11th grade. She dropped out of high school to start working, and she never stopped. She raised 3 children, 2 boys and a girl. She made it happen for them. Not sometimes, every time. Her daughter was Amaya, a senior at Crispus Attucks High School in Indianapolis. And in the spring of 2026, Amaya had her prom. Brittany was not going to let that night be anything less than everything. She found a short-term rental on North Park Avenue in the Meridian Kessler neighborhood. She decorated the garage, banners with Amaya's face on them, streamers, a red carpet. She had food brought in. She invited family. She was also engaged, and her fiancé was there. Her father, Hollis, came earlier in the evening, dropped off a dish, helped one of his grandsons knot his tie. That was the night Brittany built for her daughter. That was the night everything fell apart. There's been significant confusion online about Brittany's last name. A lot of early posts and some early write-ups circulated the surname Grundy. So let's be precise about this, because precision matters. Brittany Members used the display name Brittany Grundy on her Facebook page. That is where the confusion started. The Marion County Coroner's Office officially identified the victim as Brittany Marie Members. That is the name on the official record. That is the name we use. Now, The Grundy name in Indianapolis carries real weight, and you need to understand why. Richard Grundy III is Brittany's cousin. A decade ago, federal prosecutors described him as the leader of a notorious and murderous Indianapolis drug gang. He is currently serving a federal prison sentence on a narcotic conviction. His own daughter died in an accidental shooting after he was locked up. Multiple members of the Grundy crew have been shot, arrested, or imprisoned in the years since. So when social media saw the name Grundy connected to this shooting, the theory spread immediately. This was retaliation. Brittany was targeted because of the family name. Her father, Hollis Members, addressed this directly and on record. He said, "They come up with, this is retaliation from the Grundys because Brittany from her page using the name Grundy." And that's it. And it has nothing to do with that. This is something totally different. IMPD has not officially connected this shooting to any retaliation against the Grundy family. We are not going to run with unverified connections. What we know is her name, her family, her children, and the fact that she should still be alive. Now we need to talk about the photograph, because this is where the evening begins to turn. Earlier on the evening of May 2nd, before prom, before the after party, a photo was posted to social media. In it, partygoers posed in the driveway in front of the garage on the red carpet Brittany had set up. In front of the decorations, they were dressed up. It looked like a celebration. 4 of them were holding guns. 2 of those were large semi-automatic rifles with extended magazines, banana clips. Hollis Members saw the photo before the night ended. He acknowledged it directly. He said, "These kids these days gonna have weapons, but they never should have had guns, period." He also pushed back on the framing that followed. He asked reporters, "What's the difference between my daughter posting something like that and other people posting kids with guns who don't look like us?" That question deserves to live in this story, not be rushed past, not be dismissed. But here is what is also undeniable. Someone who was not invited to that party saw that photograph. And whether it confirmed something they already intended, triggered something they hadn't decided yet, or handed them a location they were looking for, it changed what happened next. Because the people who showed up to that address just before wine in the morning did not come to celebrate. Let me walk you through it. Earlier in the evening, Hollis Members came by the house. He dropped off food. He watched the kids in their prom outfits. He saw the decorations his daughter had built for Amia, and then he warned her. He told Brittany to shut it down early, end the party before anything had a chance to go wrong. She heard him. He went home and went to sleep. He was asleep when the call came. Back on North Park Avenue, around 100 people were at the house, according to neighbors who had been watching the cars double park on the street since the party started. Family, friends, Amia's classmates. People who had already graduated coming back to celebrate. The kind of crowd that fills a night like this. And then, before 1 in the morning, people who were not invited showed up at the door. Around 20 of them, in ski masks. They tried to get in. Brittany Members was standing at that door. What happened next comes directly from her father, told to him by witnesses. His words on record. She told them they couldn't come in. She said she didn't know them. She said they were not welcome. And one of them said, "So we can't come in," and fired a shot point blank to her head. This was not stray gunfire. This was not crossfire. A man in a ski mask stood at the door of a party, was told no by a mother protecting teenagers, and shot her in the head at close range. That is not collateral damage. That is an execution of a woman who refused to move. Just before 1 a.m., IMPD began receiving multiple 911 calls about shots fired near 40th Street and North Park Avenue. Officers arrived to find Brittany Members outside, struck by gunfire, trauma care on the scene, rushed to Methodist Hospital. She did not survive. 3 others were shot. 2 males self-transported to Methodist, 1 critical, 1 stable. A fourth person was injured trying to flee. According to Fox 59, police recovered approximately 100 shell casings from multiple weapons. Investigators determined the shooting happened in 3 separate volleys, 2 from the assailants outside, 1 from people inside the house returning fire. 100 shell casings. In a residential neighborhood at 1:00 in the morning, Ring camera footage from a neighbor captured a white SUV moving slowly down the street with its lights off. Gunfire. The vehicle reverses. More shots. According to one neighbor watching from their window, the car and its occupants appeared to be waiting, specifically waiting for people to come back outside before opening fire again. That is coordination, not chaos. Stray bullets entered neighboring homes. One bullet crossed through a neighbor's front window, through their couch, the couch where their son always sits, through a wall, and stopped at the back door. That family was asleep. They had nothing to do with any of this. By Sunday night, less than 24 hours later, someone returned to the house and quietly removed all the prom decorations. The banners with Amia's face, the red carpet, the streamers, gone. Prom decorations scattered among evidence markers were all that was left. Let me be direct. Because you came here for honest analysis, not just a news recap. 20 people in ski masks do not arrive at a residential address at 1:00 in the morning by accident. 3 separate volleys of coordinated gunfire do not happen by accident. Driving with your lights off, waiting for people to come back outside, firing again. That is not chaos. That is a plan. This was planned before they arrived. And when they were turned away at the door, they did not leave. They did not back down. IMPD confirmed publicly that authorities are actively bracing for retaliation. When law enforcement puts that on record, they are telling you between the lines exactly what they believe they are dealing with. They are not treating this as random. They believe it is connected to an ongoing conflict, and they believe it is not over. What conflict? IMPD has not confirmed a motive publicly. No arrests have been made. No suspects beyond the white SUV have been named. Detectives are working through hundreds of leads. IMPD is offering up to $1,000 cash for tips leading to a felony arrest. If you have anything, footage, a conversation you overheard, a car you saw that night, contact Detective Christopher Winter at IMPD Homicide directly at 317-327-3475 or by email at christopherwinter@indy.gov. You can stay completely anonymous through Crime Stoppers at 317-262-TIPS through the P3 Tips app or at crimetips.org. Those 3 children, Amia and her 2 brothers, are waiting for an answer. Give it to them if you can. I need to come back to Hollis Members, because his story inside this story carries a weight that deserves its own space. He has lost 2 daughters to gun violence. In April 2016, his daughter Sheena Grundy, 31 years old, Brittany's sister, was killed in a domestic-related murder-suicide. Sheena and Brittany shared the same mother. 10 years later, Hollis sat in his living room in a black pinstriped suit and told a reporter, "This is the second daughter I lost to gunfire. There's nothing like losing a kid. Makes you feel all hurt and pain." He was at the party, he brought food, he fixed his grandson's tie. He looked at what his daughter had built for Amia, and he told her to end it early. He went home, he went to sleep, and then his phone rang. He went to the house where his grandchildren were. He went to Methodist Hospital. He saw what had been done to his daughter, and he sat in front of a camera in a pinstripe suit and said, "As a father, I want justice. I want justice." Not a speech, not a statement. Just a man who has now buried 2 daughters asking for the one thing nobody has given him yet. There are things this case is telling us that go beyond Indianapolis. The first one, social media is not private just because you intend it to be. Once something is visible, it is visible to everyone, including people who were looking for a location, a reason, or a target. That is not a condemnation of anyone at that party. It is the reality of the world we are all navigating. And when teenagers are present, the consequences of that visibility do not stay with the person who posted. They fall on everyone in the building, including the adults who came to protect them. The second one, Brittany Members was not collateral. I want to say this one more time because it matters. She was a 38-year-old woman who stood between armed, masked men and a house full of teenagers and refused to step aside. That is a decision. It cost her everything. And it should be named for what it is. Not a tragedy of proximity, but an act of a mother doing what mothers do when their children are threatened. The third one, the cycle. Indianapolis has watched this pattern for years. One act, a response. Another act, another response. And the people it collects along the way. Brittany, Amya, the neighbors with bullet holes in their walls, the son whose couch almost became a coffin, none of them chose to be in it. And when authorities publicly brace for retaliation, they are telling you the next chapter may already be written. That is the most chilling part of all of this. Brittany Marie Members was 38 years old. She rode bikes with her sisters on the east side of Indianapolis when she was small. She became a mother in 11th grade and built her whole life around her children. She decorated a garage with prom banners and a red carpet for a daughter who deserved a night to remember. She was engaged, she was planning forward, she was standing at a door when they came. And she did not move. Amya will carry May 3rd, 2026 for the rest of her life. Not as the night of prom, as the night her mother stood between her and the worst thing the world had to offer. Hollis Members has buried 2 daughters. He is still sitting upright. He is still asking for justice. He deserves it. We are not moving on from this case. The moment IMPD makes an arrest, the moment anything new hits the record, we will be back. Because Brittany deserves that. Her children deserve that. And the truth deserves to come all the way out. This is Justice Rewritten. We stay until the case is closed and the truth is told. If this video moved you, subscribe, share it, and drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. And if you have information about what happened on North Park Avenue, please make that call. It could change everything for that family. If you or someone you know is struggling, call or text 988. Free, confidential, 24 hours a day. Rest easy, Brittany.